Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach. I'm going to continue on the Open Generics story. So the reason I was getting some errors with the CodeGen tests is because I ran into some edge conditions that I didn't fully think through. And again, this is why you test. This is why you write tests. This is why you do what you can to test your code to make sure that it will work as expected. And if it's not working, why it isn't. So I'm glad that I created this application and have spent so much time on it, because there's so many cases that I just have not fully thought through, not just with the Open Generics story, but with other things. And it's a good litmus test to make sure that I'm actually doing the right things. And in this case, the thing I did not realize or didn't think through is the following case. And this came from a library called Mass Transit, but I think it's something that's showing up in other libraries as well, where you have an interface. These are not the same names, but they're similar. But again, that's not the point. You have an interface that has a generic method. This type parameter is not from the interface itself. Then you have this interface that derives from this interface. And then you have this interface that derives from this one. But you'll notice that this interface now has a T. It has a type parameter specifically named T. So because of the way I'm generating my code, I assume, well, especially when I'm doing an open generic, this didn't show up when I was doing closed generics, because everything would be resolved. Here, this would be like an out of a string or something. And then it didn't matter. This T, so this T would be gone. It would actually be a real type, and then this would still be open. Now with Open Generics, what's happening is I'm creating an expectations type that's the enclosing class of everything I do when I generate the mock stuff, and giving it a type parameter called T. But then I'm implementing a method called this. I could probably get rid of this intermediate interface and it would still show up. It doesn't matter. But the point is, this T then becomes ambiguous, or it starts really confusing things. It makes a lot of errors, because this T is the one on the type. This T should be the one on the method, but when the code gets generated, it thinks, well, you already have a T, so you can't do that. It's a very simple fix. When you generate the code, you would just make this to be like T1 or some other name. Or I could do that at the top, but I think it will be easier, and I could be wrong on this. Feels like whenever I make a choice in life, it's like, which one's easier, this one or this one? And I pick A, and B ends up being the right choice, but no matter. I think it will be easier, because if I wanted to make these names unique at the type level, I'd have to look at all members. And not just one here. I'd have to look at all members and say, are there any collisions? And if so, what's the scope of all collisions? Whereas if I do it the other way, just for those cases where I have a method that is generic and I'm making an open generic, then I just have to make sure that this does not collide with the name of one of the type parameters. That's it. So the number of cases where I have a generic type where a method defines its own type parameters that actually has a collision. It's not, I'm not saying it's not uncommon, but I think that would be the easier case to handle than the other way, because it's scoped to just that method. It's not quite as easy as that, because when I was putting my notes together, I realized that I think it's also projected callbacks. Other projected types, handlers come into play, implemented methods, of course, and then also expectation setups. So I got to handle this in every case. But I believe I can handle it by just simply saying, you know what, use a variable naming context that has the type parameters of the type in there, and then say, if I run into a collision, just give me what I think T should be. So T would end up being like T1. And then that would work. So there's going to be some work to do that, so let's get into it. So the first one I want to fix is let's do the method one, because that will help me determine if I'm on the right track, because this one won't generate any projected callbacks or anything like that type. So the only things we have to worry about here are potentially handlers, implemented methods, and expectation setups. So we're going to start with the expectation setups. So we're going to come up here and we're going to go into, now this would also be, let's also get our story straight. This is for a create. This is also for a create. Handlers are for create. This is for a create and a make. And that's, so I have to do this for both of them. Okay. And I have tests here, I think I made for both of them as well, right? Yeah, the make, because the make is also, I think this one passes though, if I remember right. That's weird. I don't know how this passes. You know, I'm really confused at that. What's the reasoning behind why this one fails again? I just want to make sure, because I don't want to do more work than I have to. This will say the type T must be a reference type. Yeah, I'm getting the errors that I would see before, not the exact same ones, but saying like the type must be a reference type. And I think it's because down here it says, well, this T should be constrained to this, but it's not. But I don't know. I don't know. Like here too, you see the handler, because it thinks that the argument is going to be a generic. This one should also end up being T1, not T. So yeah, it's going to get a little confusing. But I'm a little confused as to why this case ends up just working. Yeah, I don't get that. That doesn't make any sense. This really should be T1. We're going to do it for both because it really should be the right thing. Okay, let's stop babbling. Let's close some stuff out here so that we have more cognitive space to work with, so to speak. So let's go look at the value builder. Okay, so when I create the method signature, we say the method name, explicit type name description, method.name. Where are the... Those are the constraints. So where do I actually build? That's the identifier that I write. And then this is the method signature. The method signature, does the name oh God. Please don't tell me the name contains that would suck. Because if it does, let's come back up here. Let's run this. Set completed. Ah, jeez. Well, oh man, this is going to be a lot more work than I thought then. I was hoping that I was actually getting the name of the method without the generic in it, and that's not the case. I mean, it's undoable. You know, we get the name here, method get name, and the option is to include generics. Well, we don't want that anymore. How often do we call get name? Yeah, we only do it in one case. I think what we want to do is similar to now what we're doing with the... But do we get the type arguments? Yes, we do. So we already have those. I'm thinking here, because the only place that we're calling it is here. Okay. And so I'm thinking of just getting rid of this. Okay. And then it's just method name. Now that's going to break a bunch of stuff, but that's what we want. So if we come back here and we say, let's run this test. Oh yeah, because now oh, that just broke the world. Which is fine. I don't need to do that anymore. And so this whole iMethod symbol thing, that's interesting. Oh, because that's the... Okay. Fine. Wait, no, I did not want that. What are you doing? Can I just run this test without... There we go. Okay. No. You should have. Oh, I didn't have a breakpoint here. Well, you know, helps to have breakpoints. So now the method name would be that. We come through again. And now it's just respond async. Okay. But what we need to do now here is say, if we have generics, var type arguments. So we'd say method.type arguments length count. Length is greater than 0. If that's true, we're going to do something. Otherwise, we're going to do something. Okay, we'll figure that out in a second. And then here, thankfully, I changed my code recently so that that's only one spot. So I think once I do this for the value builder, I can do it for the void builder and the other ones pretty quickly. Okay. So now here, what I want to do is, I wish a ternary allowed you to have a group of statements. Like you could say if it's 0, then you could just group it here. But then it's like, you know, because otherwise I have to do an if, and then you have to do the type arguments outside and then assign it. It's not hard. It's just, I kind of wish that would happen. But whatever, I'm babbling. String type arguments. If method.type arguments length is greater than 0, type arguments is going to be equal to that. Else type arguments will be equal to that. Yay. Okay. Yeah, you're complaining because something was in scope. Okay. See, it's like it could be a little bit less code. Shut up, Jason. So now what we need to do is we need to get, and this is the problem. I don't have method, and I don't think I capture the, I do. Oh, thank you. Foresight. It's so helpful because now I can say type arguments. Okay. So now I can have var naming context is equal to new variable naming context where I pass in a new immutable hash set of these things. Well, it's got to be a string. It can't, right? Oh. Well, that sucks. What's the problem here? Do you not have a constructor? Okay. I'm a little create. Okay. To immutable hash set. Well, okay, fine, whatever. I don't know. Oh, fine. Type argument naming context. Naming is hard. Okay, so we got that now in place. And so what we want to do is say, oh crap. The oh crap thing that just came through my head is the method parameters. And also the return type. All of these have to be scoped correct, not scoped, but they have to be named correctly. Oh, this just got even more complicated because it's not just the parameters. It's the parameters. It's the type parameter names. It's the names of the parameters for the parameters, and it's the name for the return type as well. Again, not hard, just more work than I was hoping for. So how do I want to handle this? Let's just do that. So we're going to say here, type argument naming context. So we're just going to keep that up here. And then we're always going to assume that we get, yes, I think that should work. So let's say here, type arguments naming context. And then, oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so then we do this, and then we say the variable name should be that. Boom. And if it doesn't collide, if it'd be like global : it will just give that back, because if there's nothing in here, let's just make sure I didn't do something stupid and say, you know, if there's nothing in here. No, I don't think I do. Again, this is handler variable naming context. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, never mind. Okay, so we do this, and then we say for the scoped direction parameter, scope direction type fully qualified name. It is good. I mean, not that reuse is the goal, but it is kind of nice though that I can use this thing anywhere I want. What are you going to complain about here now? No, you just calm down. That's what I want you to do, but you just calm down. Okay. Can you put that back? Can you put that back, please? I want that. That would have been nice. And then, so we did the parameters, we did the return type. So the parameters return type, explicit type name description. That one we don't. We don't need to worry about that one because that's an explicit type name. So that one would just, it's always going to be that. We don't have to worry about that. Okay. Why do we have a method exception here? Yeah, you're not being referenced anywhere anymore. Go away. So, okay, so let's bring this up above here because the method signature is, that was just an unused variable. I thought there was a tool in Visual Studio that would tell you like all the unused things and then you could just like hunt them down and get rid of them. So now what we can do is not be so, we can say var type arguments is equal to, I think we can now be a little bit more elegant about this. We can go back to saying if it's equal to that. If that's true, then we'll do something. Otherwise, we'll do something. Okay, but now the true case, oh, no, you need to have a question mark here. Okay, so now the true case would be, we're going to have this, and we're going to do that, except in here, we're going to do a string.join on that. And what we're going to do is on the method type arguments, we're going to say select, and we'll just do that for now, just to, there. Okay, cool. Except now here what we want to do is type argument naming context, passing in name. What is this? Is this it's a string? That's it. That's all you have to do. Okay, well that seems promising. Seems like I probably destroyed everything. I gotta remember to put the type arguments in here. Here. There. So now the signature has it. And anything in the method we don't care about. This is a value builder. What am I doing in the test? That returns something, right? Yes, it does. It returns a task. So that's good. Because then we'll see this show up. At least with that. Okay. So if I did this right, we should, this is going to break now in that the implementation down here should have a different T. So let's see now what the error came back with. Yeah, there's a diff difference, which is fine. They haven't fixed all this just yet. But if I get down here, T1, that's exactly what we want to see. And then the rest of it just falls through. That's perfect. That's actually exactly what we want. Okay, so we did this for the value builder on a create. Now we have to do the same thing on a, and this should not have broken. Let's just see this. My thought is this should not have broken any of the other tests. If it has, then we'll see what, maybe I'll be surprised and see that, oh yeah, it did break a lot. And Jason, you're just being stupid again. But we'll see. We'll see what this did or did not do. We'll see at least one test failing because it's the one I just went through. 31 failed. What the heck? Why? So what did this break? Has generics has a T. And now it's saying it's not even putting the T there. But it should have. Yeah, because if you look at the error here, oh, it's a void. We've just done the value on. Though, why would that have... Let's look at the value on real quick. Let's see if we can get that in on time. Should be very similar. So if I do the value builder, we want to get, again, a type argument naming context. Okay. I don't have to worry about return value here. What we do need to do, though, is for the parameter, same thing that we're doing here. Again, this screams of not doing the right. Oh, that's right. That's right. The generic went away because we removed it from the name earlier on in the episode. That's why. Okay. See, I can remember things. I drink and I know things. Okay. So now we get type arguments here. Nope. Let's do it here. Okay. So now we're going to put it in the method signature here, type arguments. And again, I don't think that this is used anywhere. Yep, we can get rid of that. Okay, so now if I run all the tests, hopefully we've now gotten back to where we were before. And those should all just be T's because, or what they originally were, because there are no collisions in those cases. Oh my God, more failed. Well, that's just cute. Why did this fail now? What in the hell is that? Why is that putting in the name of the... Okay, what did I do wrong? That's the generics. Oh! Of course it would put in the name of the variable naming context. That's why. It's funny, code, unless there's a compiler bug, does exactly what you tell it to do. Now, it might have... Yeah, I think... Well, let's see. No, that's still failing. Oh, it's failing down here now with the create expectations because we are no longer doing the name right. So that's the next thing we have to do. The other thing too is I got to change on the make. So off camera, I'm just going to fix the make methods so that they're doing the right thing. And then the next episode, we'll continue on and try to fix this. Thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.